Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Livy Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today, I want to talk to you about how the universe is abundant. I just want us to reflect on that. I want us to reflect on just all the abundance that surrounds us in nature, in our lives, and just the universe we live in is abundant. And I've adopted for myself this sort of saying, this sort of mantra, if you will. The universe is abundant. Of course, I can have that. The universe is abundant. Of course, I can have that. And so, whenever I'm thinking about something or pondering something or feeling like maybe I can't have something, I use this sort of mantra. The universe is abundant. Of course, I can have that. And there's something about that language. There's something about this first part of it, the universe is abundant. Like I'm saying a fact about the universe, and that's true. The universe is abundant. I believe in an abundant universe. And there's lots of evidence of an abundant universe. Just think about all the um, blades of grass and um, little pieces of sand, grains of sand. I mean, just think about how many different things out there are just exist in abundance. All of humanity. There's so much abundance to be had. And so there's that part of it. The universe is abundant. Of course, I can have this one tiny little piece, whatever that piece is. Because that's the other thing. No matter what you want, how big it is, what kind of a big of a dream it is, the universe is so abundant that that's just one tiny piece of it. It's just one tiny piece. And it doesn't matter how big of a piece you're wanting, how big of a piece you're manifesting, how big of a piece you're asking for. It's still just a drop in the bucket from what the universe has. And so I'm encouraging you to adopt this mantra with me. The universe is abundant. Of course I can have that. The universe is abundant. Of course I can have that. The universe is abundant. Of course I can have that. And then you can add in whatever you want to add in, whatever your specific thing that you want. Now, sometimes when we get into scarcity thinking and we believe that the universe is not abundant, that there's scarcity to be had with resources, with money, with relationships, love, whatever it is that you believe, health. And when we get into that, when we feel like we're lacking a particular thing or a particular experience, or we feel like information from outside of us is reflecting back to us that the world has scarcity, that a lot of people are experiencing scarcity, even if we're not personally experiencing it, that can feel like something we're taking on in terms of what we believe about the universe. So I want to encourage you to really pay attention when you're hearing things, when stuff is being reflected to you about scarcity, that you are able to grab onto the belief of abundance for yourself, for your own internal world. And then practice noticing where you have abundance in your life, where the universal abundance is showing up for you already. Practice noticing what do you have a lot of? Maybe you have an abundance of thoughts. Maybe you have an abundance of feelings. Maybe you have an abundance of towels. Maybe, that's kind of silly, but like maybe you have an abundance of, name whatever it is. Whatever you have in your life, and there is something in your life that you have an abundance of. And use that thing to really notice the abundance. And then if there's somewhere in your life where you feel like you're lacking, where you feel like you're not experiencing abundance, I want you to purposefully, intentionally go into your imagination, close your eyes, do it now while you're listening to this. If you can safely do so. If you can't safely do so, wait until another time when you can. And imagine having in abundance exactly what you want. In your imagination, having it exactly what you want, and then experience that. Experience that in your internal world. And then do it over and over again. Do it in an abundance of times until you experience that in your 3D reality. That's what deliberate selection is. That's what deliberate creation, you selecting the reality you want is. It's you going into your imagination, your internal world, and you selecting what you want. And you can do that with abundance. It's there. It's there for you to tap into. So I just wanted to share that with you, and thank you so much for listening, and may you manifest exactly what you want.